Hi there. This is the story of how I turned a simple minivan into a fully functional tiny home on wheels. I'll take you behind the scenes of the entire build, the design process, the challenges, and the construction of every module. If you're planning your own camper conversion, I hope my experience inspires and helps you along the way. A few years ago, our family welcomed a lovely toy poodle named Toby. This addition immediately limited our travel and accommodation options, as he prefers the outdoors. So, I began exploring different possibilities, such as RVs and trailers. However, the thought of towing a large vehicle for thousands of miles through the mountains was quite daunting. Additionally, the extra costs associated with gas, maintenance, and insurance were significant concerns. I needed a solution that would allow me to have a single vehicle for my daily commute, while also enabling me to finish my work week on Friday and hit the road quickly to enjoy the weekend. I found several inspiring minivan conversion videos on YouTube, particularly from the channels Bruce Parks and Eric Enjoys Earth, which helped shape my designs. I chose the Toyota Sienna as the base for my build due to its roomy space and known reliability. Next, I listed the features that were important to me and the limitations that drove the design. Self-contained, removable, modular, electric, and limited space available. Number 1. Self-contained, with 2 key elements. Kitchen. I saw many conversions that place the kitchen at the back of the van, requiring you to open the back door for access. While this design works fine in good weather, it poses challenges in wind, rain, or snow. You also can't use it when parked on the street, as homeowners might not appreciate someone cooking lunch in front of their house. Additionally, harvest hosts, which I plan to utilize next year, requires that your van be self-contained, with no outside cooking allowed. Inside kitchen, on the other hand, does not have all these limitations and is harvest host friendly. Toilet. Most minivan conversions lack this feature due to limited space, but I believe it's crucial for emergency use, especially if you're stealth camping on the street or in a parking lot. Again, harvest hosts requires you to have facilities on board. Number 2. Removable. Since I plan to use the vehicle for my daily commute and for travel, primarily during the months of April to October, it was important for the build to have a removable setup. All camping additions could be removed easily, allowing me to reinstall the original seats without permanent modifications, aside from a few cosmetic changes. Removing all modules and reinstalling the seats takes about an hour or less. Number 3. Modular. Understanding that nothing is perfect and that each component could fail, I wanted the ability to replace only a portion of the setup while keeping the rest intact to reduce long-term costs. This led me to split the build into modules that can be replaced and are easier to handle during assembly and disassembly. The following modules were created: floor, bed, sink module, fridge and table module, stove and toilet module, electrical module, energy inputs, ventilation, sun and rain protection. I will provide separate episodes to show each module in detail. Number 4. Electric. Initially, I planned to use a propane stove for cooking, but I quickly realized that headroom is limited and having an open flame inside a small van is dangerous. Therefore, I opted for a fully electric setup with all appliances powered by solar energy. To ensure I have ample power even during cloudy days at campgrounds, I installed a large 400-watt solar panel on the roof, along with foldable panels, an extra 200-watt, for additional energy when necessary. Also, the battery can be charged from the car alternator while driving. All energy is stored in 2 batteries with a total capacity of around 3,300 watt-hour. Number 5. Limited space. With limited space in the minivan, every feature had to be carefully planned. Clearance in some instances is just 1/4 of an inch. One especially challenging module was the electrical module, which is squeezed between the passenger sliding door and the bed. Its countertop is even curved to follow the shape of the door. Minivan conversion enthusiasts on YouTube opt to retain the original carpet flooring to minimize weight. However, I strongly advocate for installing a hard, easy-to-clean floor as an essential component of any van conversion. A hard floor offers numerous advantages. Protection prevents dirt, mud, and moisture from damaging the van's interior. Easy cleaning simplifies maintenance and keeps your van looking its best. Enhanced aesthetics provides a clean, modern look. Structural support can be used to secure cabinets and improve overall build stability. While installing a hard floor may add some weight, the benefits far outweigh the drawbacks, especially considering the significant weight reduction from removing the original seats. However, you may encounter a few challenges building the hard floor. Complex layout. Minivan walls are not straight, so you'll need to create a template, test it, and then cut the plywood. Expect a few rounds of trial and error as you replicate the van's curved walls. To avoid rubbing, ensure there's sufficient clearance between the plywood and the walls. Additionally, you'll need to create cutouts for seat hardware and the spare tire access point, which is located near the second-row right side seat in the Sienna. This will allow you to access the spare tire in case of a puncture. Uneven floor. The Sienna's sloped floor, designed to provide more headroom for second-row passengers, initially presented a challenge as that would mean the bed would be sloped too. However, I designed the bed frame to compensate for the incline. Additionally, it's important to acknowledge that finding perfectly level parking spots is often unrealistic in van life. While leveling the vehicle as much as possible is ideal, it's essential to accept that some degree of unevenness is inevitable. Second challenge is the level gap between the inner and outer rail tracks of both second-row seats. Outer tracks are sitting lower than inner ones. To ensure even support for the plywood flooring, I glued strips of vinyl flooring to the bottom of the plywood, bridging the gap. These tracks now effectively serve as floor joists, providing structural support for the plywood, similar to a traditional house subfloor joists. Securing it to the van. The Sienna's second-row seat rail tracks have hidden metal brackets beneath the plastic covers. These brackets, located at the front and back of each rail, provided convenient anchor points for the floor. I installed weld nuts into the brackets and secured the floor using knob bolts at the front and eye bolts at the back, near the bed. The eye bolts offer flexibility for securing additional cargo between the bed and kitchen cabinets using bungee cords, if needed. Foundation for modules. To strengthen the plywood weakened by the cutouts for the center console slide tracks, I installed steel angles. But their primary purpose is to serve as a robust foundation for the cabinet modules. These angles are spaced 16 inches apart, and the cabinets are mounted directly onto them and secured with a combination of bolts. Regular bolts are used at the rear, while eye bolts are positioned at the front of the cabinets, allowing for additional cargo securing with bungee cords. To accommodate the bolts, I drilled the steel angles and installed M6 rivet nuts. Why vinyl tiles? While adding an extra layer on top of the plywood will increase the overall weight of your van conversion a little, the benefits of an easy-to-clean, durable surface outweighs the additional weight. A removable, unglued top layer like vinyl tiles is an excellent choice as it allows for easy cleaning and maintenance, as well as potential future modifications to the subfloor. To accommodate temperature fluctuations, it's crucial to leave an expansion gap around the edges of the flooring. I used aluminum angles to protect the sides of the floor and conceal the expansion gap. The front and back gaps are covered by the cabinet modules and bed edge trim. A comfy bed is the holy grail of van life, right? No more sleeping on lumpy air mattresses or waking up with a crick in your neck. A good night's sleep in your van is the difference between a fantastic road trip and a week of grumpy selfies. Sure, a big camping tent can be fun for a weekend getaway, but let's be honest, it's more like camping in a tent. A van conversion, on the other hand, is like having a cozy little apartment that you can drive anywhere. No more fumbling around in the dark, trying to set up camp. Just park and drift off to dreamland. A van conversion bed is a double-edged sword. It's the heart of your mobile home, providing a cozy retreat after a long day of adventure. But it also presents a unique set of challenges. First, it's a space hog. A full-size bed can easily dominate the interior, leaving little room for other amenities. That's why a versatile, collapsible bed is a must. Second, there's the delicate balance between comfort and headroom. A raised bed can provide a luxurious sleeping experience, but it can also make it feel cramped when you're sitting up. And finally, the van's limited width forces a tough decision: a wider bed for comfort or more storage space along the walls. It's a trade-off that every van lifer must consider. My priority list during bed design was: it should be 6 feet long, as wide as possible to fit 2 people more or less comfortably. Have a foam mattress, at least 4-inch high. Convertible into sofa mode for day use. Should support lounge mode, to watch movies or read a book more comfortably. Preferably support reverse lounge mode, to enjoy sunsets with back door of the van open. Provide easy access to storage under the bed and in the trunk. Properly secured to the van frame for safety. Easily removable when the camping setup is stripped from the van. Not too bulky to minimize weight. After countless hours of YouTube binge watching, shout out to Eric Travels the Earth, and searching possible options on Amazon, I found my elusive trifold mattress which fit the requirements. 74-inch long, 3 sections with around 24-inch per section, and 52-inch wide. And it folds into sofa-like setup with 3 interconnected parts: foot, middle, and head sections. But, as with any great plan, there were a few hiccups. The original mattress, while impressive in its own right, had a stubborn mind of its own. It refused to cooperate with the lounge mode. So, I took matters into my own hands and performed a little mattress surgery. By adding some strategic inserts, I was able to coax the mattress into supporting the lounge mode. This modification also helped with slight ergonomic problem in sofa mode. The seat section is a little bit deep. Usually, it is recommended that sofa or chair have the maximum 18-inch depth for the seat. The added mattress insert allows middle section of the mattress to go over the foot section, reducing its sitting depth from 24 to 20-inch, which is close enough to the target 18-inch maximum. To further optimize it, I trimmed the mattress width by a couple of inches. This small adjustment made a big difference while switching between bed and sofa mode by reducing a snug fit between the van's walls. Let's just say, it's now the most versatile mattress this side of the Rocky Mountains. To create a versatile and functional bed platform, I divided it into 3 24-inch sections, mirroring the trifold mattress. These sections are connected by lift-off hinges, allowing them to fold and unfold seamlessly, transforming the bed into a sofa or a flat sleeping surface. While half-an-inch plywood might seem a bit flimsy for a bed, it strikes a balance between weight and strength. To compensate for its flexibility, I ensured the platform is well supported by the underlying frame, especially around the hinge areas. A sturdy beam reinforces the foot section, preventing any sagging or warping. This beam also hosts folding legs which can be hidden during the day while in sofa mode and open for the night bed mode. To keep things lightweight and airy, I drilled ventilation holes into the plywood. This helps to reduce moisture buildup and create a more comfortable sleeping environment. For added convenience, I incorporated a few clever features. The lift-off hinges allow for easy disassembly, making it simple to store or transport the bed sections. The head section can even be repurposed as an outdoor table, perfect for enjoying a meal or a scenic view. To make sure the sections do not separate while switching between bed modes, I drilled holes in the hinge sides, used tap to add thread inside the holes, and used a matching thumb screw bolt with washers to fix it. To prevent the sections from shifting, I added toggle latches to the foot and head sections. These keep the bed securely in place, whether you're sitting or driving. Sections can also be folded and bolted to the frame if I need to haul a lot of cargo. This setup provides the maximum internal volume of the van. I also added 4 handles to help switching bed into sofa and lounge mode. I found a lot of videos on YouTube where bed frame is built with 2-inch by 4-inch lumber. It is an inexpensive option, but it uses valuable space and does not hide underbed storage content. So, I decided to build the frame box with plywood, which is thinner, more stable from a structural perspective, and also serves as an enclosed storage box. To simplify bed frame removal and storage, I made it easy to disassemble. You just need Allen key and 5 minutes of your time. As I mentioned earlier, you should decide what is important for you when you design the bed, headroom, or underbed storage volume. I tried to find the balance, not to hit the ceiling with my head, and to max out storage at the same time. I spent a few hours playing with boxes of different height put on the floor to simulate how far I can go with the bed height. The fact that my Toyota Sienna XLE has moonroof over second-row seats helped, as well as it adds a couple of inches in the area where I would sit in the sofa mode. In my previous episode about floor design, I mentioned that Sienna has a sloped floor with less headroom at the back of the car. My floor is following this slope, while for bed, it is better to be as leveled as possible for better sleep. I compensated this incline in the design of the bed box frame sidewalls. Now if the vehicle is parked on a leveled street, then I can sleep in the leveled position too. But keep in mind that this almost never happens, so you should be ready for some unevenness, and use leveling blocks if this is really an issue. This compensation of the incline also gave more headroom at the back of the bed as frame lowers to the back a little and gives a few inches of space. As I mentioned previously, plywood sections should be supported, especially in the hinge area, to bear the stress from weight of two people. I put plywood crossbeams where the hinges rest. As head section hinges are mounted on the bottom, I had to add insets to accommodate protruding hinge hardware. To support the head section at the back and secure two sidewalls of the bed frame box, I added a connecting piece that can be removed easily when I load the camping gear before the trip. This way it does not interfere if I have to put something bulky into the trunk. Also, the head section edge is sitting on top of it for support to avoid sagging. The back side of the bed frame box is hovering over the trunk space and requires the support of the weight of people sleeping. I added two supporting legs with adjustable height. They can also be removed when the bed frame is disassembled for storage. To minimize the risk of injury in an accident, I secured the bed frame to the van's existing structure. I utilized the third-row seat lock strikers to anchor a sturdy foundation for the bed frame box. This foundation consists of two lumber pieces bolted to the strikers using U-bolts. Steel angles connect these pieces, providing a solid framework for the bed box sidewalls, which are secured to this foundation using M6 bolts. Bed frame walls created a sizable storage box under the bed. I put 1/8-inch plywood on the bottom of the storage box to have a clean setup. Now I can store clothing inside. And added two dividing walls to have 3 separate compartments inside the box. These dividers can be removed if I prefer to have one big compartment, or split the box into 2 compartments with 2:1 ratio. Accessing the storage beneath the bed is a breeze. Simply lift up the seating section and secure it in place using a clever magnetic latch. This ingenious little device keeps the bed propped up, providing easy access to your belongings. I'm so proud of this simple yet effective solution that I might just have to patent it. My initial bed design was a simple one. The bed platform had 1/2 inch deep grooves to guide the bed platform sections. While this worked fine for the bare frame, adding a mattress and bedding increased the weight, making the sections prone to slipping out of the grooves during transitions. To solve this, I modified the bed frame with aluminum angles and added rollers to the bed sections. The angles keep the rollers on track, ensuring a smooth transition between bed and sofa modes. Plus, the rollers reduce friction, making the transformation even easier. To prevent the sections from slipping sideways, I added polyethylene strips as side stops. Adding aluminum guide angles posed a new challenge. It blocked the head section from lifting into the lounge mode. A bit of ingenuity led to a clever solution. I installed home security locks at the back of the bed frame. When locked, they extend the aluminum angle, keeping the rollers in place. When unlocked, they allow the head section to lift freely, creating a comfortable lounge. To keep the head section stable in lounge mode, I added a pair of sturdy, foldable legs. These ingenious little supports, crafted from repurposed tripod extension poles, push against the back crossbar. When the bed is in its standard sleeping position, the legs tuck neatly away, held securely by a couple of mop and broom holders. Talk about a clever use of everyday items. So, how it all works. How to transition bed into different modes. Bed mode. Bed sections are extended to all flat position. Foot section has supporting legs unfold. Sofa mode. Use handles on the middle section to lift it up. Slide the leg section to the seating position. Fold supporting legs. Lounge mode. Open security locks at the back to release the back rollers. Use handles on the head section to lift it up. Unfold supporting legs on the back and put them into support brackets. You might be wondering, where does all the bedding go? Well, the secret lies in a clever layering system. I keep a fitted sheet and a lightweight blanket on the bed at all times. When it's time to convert the bed into a sofa, I simply spread the blanket over the mattress, tuck the pillows at the back, and cover everything with a waterproof mattress protector. This protector keeps the bedding in place and provides an added layer of protection against the elements when it's raining and I get back into the van all wet. And pillows are sitting between the head section and the van back door, utilizing this otherwise unusable space. At night, it's as easy as rolling back the protector to reveal your cozy bed. One of the joys of van life is the opportunity to dine al fresco, soaking in nature's beauty. However, lugging around a bulky traditional table can be a hassle. To solve this problem, I've devised a clever solution that leverages the versatility of the trifold bed. By repurposing the head section of the bed, I've created a portable and adjustable outdoor table. The secret lies in the legs. Each leg consists of two pieces that can be easily disassembled and reconfigured. By unscrewing one piece from each leg and reattaching them to additional nut inserts, you can transform the legs into a four-legged, height-adjustable table. This ingenious design allows you to level the table on uneven terrain, ensuring a stable and comfortable dining experience, no matter where your adventures take you. While I'm quite pleased with my current bed setup, I believe there's always room for improvement. The roller and aluminum angle design looks sleek, but I can't shake the feeling that it could be simplified. If you have any ideas or hardware suggestions that could streamline it without compromising functionality, please share them in the comments. I'm also working on finalizing the reverse lounge mode, where the bed leg section is raised into lounge position to enjoy sunset views with the back door of the van open. The missing part is support of this section in elevated position, and I'm exploring the possibility of using the telescopic legs from the head section to be reused for this purpose. Another area for improvement is the bed's supporting legs. In their current configuration, they can only be operated when the bed is in sofa mode. If I enable reverse lounge mode, those legs would press against table countertop folded down and make this transition impossible. To address this, I'm considering a mechanism that would automatically retract the legs or provide access to operate them from above. A popular solution for washing dishes in minivan conversions is a collapsible plastic sink mounted at the back. While convenient, this setup necessitates outdoor washing, which can be problematic when parked on the street or during inclement weather. Furthermore, disposing of wastewater can be a logistical hurdle. It's important to note that Harvest Host requires all facilities, including dishwashing, to be located inside the van. A sink with running water is a game-changer for camper vans. It's a cooking essential. If you're cooking on the road, a sink is a must-have for washing dishes, saving time and eliminating the need for makeshift washing stations. Convenient and efficient, a built-in sink streamlines cooking and cleaning, letting you quickly wash up and get back on the road. Home comfort. Even an only cold water sink adds a touch of home, making your van feel more comfortable. Freedom and flexibility. Cook, eat, and clean up anywhere you park, giving you greater independence. In short, any running water sink greatly enhances the campervan experience by adding convenience, comfort, and flexibility. Creating a functional campervan within the confines of a minivan presents a significant challenge: available space. As you've seen in my previous videos, this is a recurring theme. When designing the sink module cabinet, I had to navigate several spatial constraints. The reclined driver's seat significantly encroaches on the space designated for the sink cabinet. I had to balance the desired recline angle with the necessary cabinet space, carefully shaping the cabinet top to conform to the seat's curvature. Bed length. The 74-inch bed in the rear further restricts the available space. These two factors limited the maximum depth of the sink cabinet to approximately 18-inch. The interior door grab handle posed an additional constraint on the cabinet's height. While removable, I opted to retain it for its practicality during the off-season when the van is used for everyday purposes. Taking these limitations into account, I designed a cabinet with the following specifications. Inner depth, 16-inch, plus 1 inch for the plywood walls. The back of the cabinet is angled to provide additional clearance for the reclined driver's seat. I chose 1/2-inch plywood for its proven durability in kitchen cabinet construction. Unlike particle board, plywood's robust nature can withstand the vibrations experienced during travel. For easy access to the water tanks for maintenance, the side of the cabinet, facing the passenger door, is open. The cabinet is designed for easy installation and removal, both in terms of size and weight. A convenient handle on the cabinet wall further simplifies this process. The cabinet is positioned above the second-row seat hardware, utilizing the space beneath for storage. For secure mounting, the cabinet is bolted to a steel angle foundation using M6 bolts. The countertop is a central element of any kitchen and especially crucial in a camper van. It's our workspace for food preparation, serving, and dining. While there are many countertop materials available, a camper van demands specific qualities. It must be easy to clean while traveling, reasonably lightweight, and durable enough to withstand the stresses of being on the road. I was fortunate to salvage Corian countertops from a kitchen renovation, which proved ideal for this project. Corian, a solid surface material composed of acrylic polymer and natural minerals, offers several key advantages. While heavier than wood, it's incredibly easy to clean and maintain. It's also reparable. Minor damage can be sanded out. Furthermore, its workability, cutting, routing, and drilling makes it perfect for DIY projects. While the sink module's countertop area is small due to the sink cutout, Corian's benefits truly shine in other modules, which I'll showcase in future videos. Being waterproof, Corian requires no sealing. To prevent water intrusion between the sink module and the adjacent fridge and electrical modules, I simply applied foam strips along the connecting edges. When searching for the ideal sink, I had several key requirements: sufficient size and depth to minimize splashing and accommodate items like dish soap, a sponge, and a collapsible caddy for washing vegetables, an integrated drying rack for dishes and cups, a cutting board that could also serve as a lid to secure the contents during travel. I found a drop-in bar sink on Amazon that met all these criteria. Its internal dimensions are 10 inches by 13 inches for the sink opening and 9 inch in depth. I made one key modification, replacing the original wooden cutting board with a custom-made plastic one crafted from Corian solid surface material. The original wooden board, while aesthetically pleasing and a nice complement to the setup, warped in extreme heat during one of a camping trips, with temperature reaching up to plus 45 degrees Celsius. To secure the cutting board lid during travel, I used a flat bungee cord. I may revise this in the future if I find a better, more elegant solution. Because the top rear of the sink cabinet is angled to accommodate the reclined driver's seat, I had to position the sink as far forward as possible. Consequently, its edge protrudes slightly over the cabinet's front wall, requiring a 1-inch countertop overhang. While this sink is nearly ideal, I overlooked one crucial detail. Its bottom is almost flat. This design looks modern, but can cause drainage issues when the minivan is parked on uneven ground. While I can manage this, you might consider a bowl-style sink to avoid this problem altogether. An ideal camper van faucet should prioritize water flow control to conserve precious water, compact height to fit within the limited headroom of a minivan while remaining tall enough for comfortable dishwashing. I found a faucet on Amazon that perfectly meets these requirements and, in my opinion, is an excellent choice for a mini camper van build. Although designed for home use with hot and cold water lines, I adapted it by using a T-connector to supply cold water to both lines. This faucet is not only convenient to use, but also boasts several valuable features. Extendable hose, useful for rinsing vegetables outside the van and cleaning the sink thoroughly. Adjustable spray pattern, for versatile water flow. Pause mode, for temporary water shutoff. For running water in a camper van, a pump is essential. Several options exist, including USB rechargeable pumps that attach directly to water containers. However, to easily plumb the chosen faucet and avoid the hassle of recharging, I opted for a pump connected to the van's main battery. The pump I selected on Amazon offers the following advantages: 12-volt operation, powered directly by the main battery. Self-priming. Can safely start even when dry. Automatic on and off. Automatically stops when pressure builds and restarts when the faucet is opened and pressure drops, eliminating the need for a manual switch. While the pump is somewhat noisy, I don't anticipate using it at night. To prevent accidental activation overnight due to pressure drop in the water line, I installed a switch to completely cut power to the pump when not in use. The pump automatically activates when you open the faucet, causing a pressure drop in the water lines, and shuts off when the faucet is closed. This frequent cycling can put extra strain on the pump's hardware. Adding an accumulator tank mitigates this issue. The pump runs for a longer duration, filling the tank, and then shuts off. When you open the faucet, water is initially supplied from the tank, and the pump only activates when the tank pressure drops. While not mandatory, installing an accumulator tank enhances the setup by reducing pump cycles and extending its lifespan. A pump filter with a strainer is crucial for extending the lifespan of your water pump by minimizing wear and tear. This is especially important in a camper van where water sources may not always be clean and free of sediments. The filter is installed on the water line that connects the pump's intake to the water container. By preventing debris from entering the pump, the filter safeguards the pump's internal components, ensuring smoother operation and a longer service life. I effectively utilize the limited space by strategically placing the components between the cabinet back wall and the sink's back wall. Here's a concise summary of the water flow. Intake hose. Water enters the system through the intake hose. Water filter. The water then passes through the filter to remove debris. Pump. The filtered water is then pumped into the tank. Accumulator tank. Stores water and eliminates excessive pump on and off cycles. T-connector. Finally, the water from the accumulator tank is distributed to both the hot and cold water lines of the faucet via the T-connector. The search for ideal water tanks was a crucial part of my sink module build. My requirements included maximum volume, sufficient for a weekend trip, rectangular shape, to efficiently utilize the rectangular cabinet space, equal volumes, ensure balanced capacity between clean and gray water tanks to prevent overflows, compact dimensions, fit within the 16-inch depth and limited height constraints under the sink, portability. The clean water tank should be easily usable on campground picnic tables. Large openings, for convenient refilling and cleaning. After thorough research, I discovered a pair of tanks on Amazon that perfectly met my needs. This HDP water container, with a 15 liters capacity and a rectangular shape, fits perfectly within my cabinet's 16-inch width allowance for 2 tanks. The extra inch provides ample clearance for easy removal and accommodates slight expansion when filled with water. Designed for portability, this container can be easily moved to a picnic table at a campground. It also features a convenient spigot attachment for controlled water flow. Finally, a large opening facilitates easy cleaning of the interior walls, ensuring optimal hygiene. To secure the tanks, I installed a plywood barrier at the bottom to prevent horizontal movement. A locking mechanism at the top further secures the tanks vertically, ensuring they remain in place during travel. This design allows for easy removal and refilling of the tanks. To protect the cabinet floor from spills during tank servicing, I added a silicone mat with raised edges. This mat is held in place by the plywood block that secures the tanks. The clean water tank features a flexible gopher hose inside. The gray water tank has a compact plumbing system routed between the tank handles. Above the tanks, I store essential water-related items. Short garden hose facilitates easy refilling of the clean water tank at campgrounds, eliminating the need to lift the tank to the faucet. Spigot parts, used when the clean water tank is utilized in picnic table mode. Below the cabinet, there's a small storage compartment where I keep my Vtoman battery jumpstart cable, a crucial tool for jump-starting the car in case of a dead battery. I'm quite pleased with the current setup, but I'm considering a couple of minor improvements. Securing cutting board. I'd like to explore more elegant alternatives to the bungee cord for holding the cutting board in place. Backsplash. I'm thinking of adding a 1/2-inch high backsplash to the rear and left side of the countertop to minimize water runoffs. Currently, we use a towel hanging from the driver's seat as a temporary solution. A fridge is essential for any multi-day camping trip, especially when venturing to areas without convenient access to grocery stores. Since our dog, Toby, primarily eats home-cooked food, we need to carry several days' worth of meals, necessitating a freezer. To address these needs, I built a dedicated fridge cabinet module that serves three key purposes. Fridge housing securely accommodates the fridge unit. Essential item storage provides readily accessible storage for frequently used cooking and dining items. Work surface offers a countertop surface via its top lid and a further expanded work area with a built-in folding table. I researched several small fridge options for my van, focusing on these key features. Ideal size, not too large, not too small. 12-volt power, direct connection to the van's battery, eliminating the energy loss of an inverter. Dual zone, 2 independently controlled compartments usable as either a fridge or freezer, essential for storing both our food and Toby's. Portability, easy to move in and out of the van for cleaning and storage, with the option for independent power using a detachable battery. Top access. A top-opening design was crucial due to space constraints within the minivan, making side-opening fridges impractical. App control. Remote monitoring and temperature adjustment for added convenience. The Bouge RV CR35 12-volt car refrigerator with dual zone, with 35 liters volume, seemed to tick all the boxes. This model has reasonable power consumption and a compartment for an optional detachable battery, enabling off-grid use at locations like picnic tables. It also supports Bluetooth connection and works with CarFridge Free app on the phone to control temperature in each zone. I did experience a minor issue with a warp lid, likely a manufacturing defect, that compromised the fridge's cooling efficiency. However, Bouge RV's customer service was excellent. They promptly sent a replacement lid, which arrived just in time for my camping trip. I was extremely impressed with their responsiveness and support. While British Columbia summers are generally mild, around 20 to 25 degrees Celsius, we frequently visit the Okanagan Valley, particularly southern part of it. This unique area is Canada's only desert, with temperatures soaring to over 45 degrees Celsius during peak summer. With plans to travel further south next year to California, Utah, and Arizona, I decided to add extra thermal insulation to my fridge to maximize cooling efficiency. Bouge RV offers insulated protective covers designed for their specific fridge models. These covers fit perfectly, with precise cutouts for ventilation and connectors. This extra layer of insulation helps minimize power consumption by reducing the workload on the compressor to maintain the desired internal temperature. After choosing the fridge model, I decided to build a slightly oversized cabinet to accommodate a potentially larger replacement in the future, adding a few inches of extra space on sides for future proofing. This also improved airflow around the fridge, particularly on the right side where the ventilation outlet is located. I also added ventilation holes in the cabinet's back wall, aligning them with the fridge's ventilation intake. Initially, I planned to position the fridge at the top of the cabinet, accessible by lifting the countertop lid, with a drawer for food storage below. However, 3 factors led me to relocate the fridge to the bottom. The cabinet's top is angled to follow the curve of the reclined front seats, similar to the sink module, limiting the available depth for the fridge. The fridge's front-facing ventilation outflow would be obstructed by the folded table/countertop, hindering proper airflow. Bottom storage would be inaccessible when the bed is set up. Therefore, the only viable option was to place the fridge at the bottom and the storage on top. While this requires removing items to access the fridge, I only need to open it a few times a day. To mitigate this inconvenience, I designed a unique lifting storage feature, described later. A large front opening allows for easy removal of the fridge for cleaning after trips. While it can remain in the cabinet during the summer, I prefer to remove it during the off-season when I use the minivan for commuting to prolong its lifespan. For easier handling, I added handholds to the sides of the cabinet. I routed the fridge's power wires beneath the cabinets through an opening in the steel angle foundation that houses the second-row seat hardware. This wire connects to a 12-volt cigarette lighter outlet built into the cabinet floor. I noticed the connection between this outlet and the fridge's input connector was not secure enough, especially with the vibrations of driving. To address this, I implemented a locking mechanism to ensure a stable connection. As previously mentioned, my initial design placed the fridge at the top of the cabinet, but this proved incompatible with other design constraints. Relocating the fridge to the bottom let me use upper space for storage of the essential kitchen items like cutlery, snacks, and cups. I opted for a handled plastic wicker basket for easy removal of all these items and access to the fridge. While this worked in practice during the first camping trip, it presented a new problem: where to put the basket when accessing the fridge. It could be placed on the couch if only one person was sitting there, but with two people, space became limited. Additionally, the countertops were usually occupied with cooking supplies, leaving no convenient place for the basket. I had a crazy idea. The storage should move vertically, like an elevator, and lock in the upper position to provide access to the fridge. I built a storage bin to replace the original basket, incorporating a handle cutout for easy lifting. To secure it in the raised position, I used furniture sliders with gravity locks. The challenge was that these rails are designed for horizontal use, relying on gravity to engage the locks. However, my design required vertical movement. Luckily, the need to angle the sliders to match the angled countertop lid in open position solved this problem. The incline allowed the gravity locks to function as intended. For added reliability, I incorporated magnets to reinforce the gravity assist and ensure consistent lock engagement. To access the fridge, lift the storage bin using the handle. It will lock in the raised position. Open the fridge and retrieve your items. Close the fridge. Support the storage bin from below while releasing the left and then the right rail locks. Lower the storage bin back into the cabinet, where it rests on top of the fridge. To simplify opening of the fridge door, due to the cabinet frame obstructing the latch, I added a ball chain with a ring, which is conveniently stored on a magnet. Simply pulling the chain releases the latch and opens the fridge lid. I repurposed Corian solid surface material from a previous kitchen renovation for the lid and folding table. This material provides a durable work surface for cooking and can be opened to access the storage and fridge below. I used the same lift-off hinges as on the bed sections from my previous video. To attach the hinges to the Corian, I drilled holes for threaded insert nuts and secured them with epoxy. When drilling the Corian, be careful to use a drill bit stop to prevent drilling through the surface. The countertop is held upright by two support arms. The initial version used standard arms without soft close functionality, which made closing the lid a bit precarious, nearly catching my fingers a couple of times. Replacing them with soft close arms was a significant improvement. To secure the lid during travel, I installed locks on the cabinet face that engage with steel angles attached to the underside of the countertop. To open the lid, pull and rotate the lock. To secure it for driving, rotate it until it is engaged with the lid counterpart hardware. As mentioned in my kitchen sink module video, I extended the countertop over the cabinet front face to accommodate the overhanging sink edge. This extension continues over the fridge module too, and now serves as a convenient handle for opening the lid. Additionally, this overhang neatly conceals the two securing locks, keeping them out of the way. The versatile folding table is the centerpiece of the kitchen, extending the work surface for cooking, dining, and working on the go. I researched various folding table solutions on YouTube and found numerous hardware options on Amazon. Choose proper size for your application and color to match the rest of hardware in your build. I attached two folding table support arms to the front of the fridge cabinet. As before, I drilled holes in the countertop for threaded insert nuts, which were then secured with epoxy. Finally, Bolts fasten the countertop to the support arms from below. When folded, the table leaves approximately 1 inch of clearance behind the countertop due to the hardware. This accommodates the slight protrusion of the fridge from the cabinet. Additionally, the top edge of the folded table sits about an inch below the cabinet lid, providing convenient access to the lid locks and allowing for easy opening. To prevent the folding table from moving while driving, I installed a latch on the front of the sink cabinet to secure it. I've used these latches in several other areas of the build, including on the locking plank for the water tanks. I chose them for their convenient, oversized handle rings, which are both easy to use and add a distinctive touch to the design. The fridge module cabinet includes a few additional features. During early trips, the paper towel roll was constantly in the way. I realized the space behind the fridge module, between the front seats, was an ideal spot for it. A mountable paper towel holder from Amazon provided the perfect solution, making towels easily accessible from kitchen area while cooking and from the front seats, useful for cleaning Toby's paws during driving breaks. While we're still working on Toby's map reading skills, he is our navigator, riding in a custom bed between the front seats and guiding us on our adventures. For his safety, I installed an eye bolt and use a short leash to secure him while driving. I may improve some aspects of the fridge module. Fridge lid support. The lid currently requires manual holding, which is inconvenient. I plan to explore using the existing ball chain, used for opening, with a locking mechanism to hold the lid open. Storage bin rails. The storage bin's current gravity-based rail system could be more secure. I'll investigate alternative rail models. Backsplash. Adding a 1/2-inch backsplash to the rear of the lid would prevent small items from rolling into the gap between the front seats and the fridge cabinet. While not a major issue, it would prevent the frustration of lost items. Rounded table corner. Rounding the outer corner of the folding table would eliminate the risk of bumping into the sharp edge while entering the van. While this hasn't happened yet, it's a worthwhile preventative measure. My initial cooking plan involved a propane stove for cooking, boiling water, and making hot drinks. Since I already use a propane barbecue while camping, it seemed like a simple solution. Just add a compact stove compatible with the same propane cylinders. Since I plan to use Harvest Host locations, having indoor cooking facilities was essential, as it's a must-have requirement for the service eligibility. However, during the design and planning phase, I realized the limited clearance between the countertop and the van ceiling. Using an open flame appliance in such a confined space posed a significant safety risk. Additionally, burning propane inside the van could create health hazards. This prompted me to switch to a fully electric cooking system powered by ample battery capacity and solar power. Electric appliances offer significantly greater safety by eliminating both dangerous gases and the risk of open flames. This change subsequently influenced the sizing of the solar panels and the battery configuration, which I will cover in one of the future videos. The most logical location for the cooking setup was near the entry and exit point, allowing steam to easily escape with the window open or slightly lowered. Therefore, I placed it as the rightmost module of my cabinet setup. This location also houses the spare tire access point, meaning the cooking unit, unlike the sink and fridge modules, needed to be easily removable in case of a flat tire. Furthermore, I wanted the cooking unit to be portable for outdoor cooking at campsites. This meant it needed to be compact enough to carry and provide a comfortable working height when placed on a picnic table. These requirements dictated a detachable top section for the cooking unit, allowing the remaining cabinet space to be used for other purposes, such as storage. Consequently, the cabinet comprises 3 sections. Base bottom. This section covers the steel angle foundation and the spare tire access point. Storage unit. Middle. This multifunctional section can store clothing, other items, or even a compostable toilet. Cooking unit. Top. This detachable section houses the cooking appliances. To enhance usability, I incorporated slides that allow for complete removal or partial shifting of the cooking and storage units. This feature offers several configurations for increased comfort. Easier entry and exit. Move the storage unit toward the front of the van, with the cooking unit on top. requires the front passenger seat to be moved fully forward. This configuration provides the following benefits. Creates more space for entering and exiting the van, ideal for extended parking or campsites. Provides additional legroom when the bed is set up, facilitating easier entry and exit. More convenient cooking. Partially moving the storage unit to the back of the van, with the cooking unit on top. This positions the cooking unit closer to the sofa, making meal preparation more convenient. Access toilet at night. Moving the storage unit toward the front of the van, with the cooking unit removed. The cooking unit can be placed on the front passenger seat or on top of the fridge cabinet. Requires the front passenger seat to be moved fully forward. This configuration provides significantly more legroom when the bed is set up, especially useful for nighttime trips to the toilet if emergency happens. The slides also enable complete removal of the top cooking unit or the middle storage unit, providing access to the bottom foundation section and the spare tire. I implemented this sliding mechanism using woodworking tracks and HDPE plastic gliding inserts with matching profiles attached to the bottom of each unit. For secure locking during travel, I used the same oversized latches previously featured in the sink and fridge module videos. Base section. The base is secured to the steel angle framework with 4 bolts, eye-bolts at the front, 4 bungee cords, and knob bolts at the rear. It includes tracks to accommodate the profiles on the bottom of the storage unit, as well as recessed openings for the locking latches. The foundation extends rearward, toward the front of the van, to provide adequate support for the storage unit when it's shifted away. A 3-way toggle switch is integrated into the foundation to control the LED light upon entering or exiting the van. This switch works in conjunction with a matching switch on the main electrical console. Storage unit. This unit currently houses a separating composting toilet, a harvest host requirement, and a valuable backup for emergencies during stealth camping. A large front opening allows for easy removal of the toilet for use outside in a shower tent at campgrounds. 2 crisscrossed bungee cords secure the toilet during transit, preventing it from shifting. When a toilet isn't needed, let's say during trips to campsites with facilities, this unit can be used for general storage. 2 latches secure the unit, one at the bottom to lock it to the base section and one at the top to lock it to the cooking unit. The top of the unit also features tracks to accommodate the HDPE gliding profiles on the bottom of the cooking unit. Cooking unit. This unit's back wall is shaped to match the sink and fridge modules, accommodating the reclined front seat. The top compartment houses an induction cooktop and is covered by a countertop lid supported by soft close arms, similar to those used in the fridge unit, as shown in the previous video. 2 rotating locks secure the lid during travel. 120-volt power is supplied via connector on the unit's back panel, connected to my Toman battery inverter with an extension cord. This connection is easily detachable for removing the cooking unit from the van. An additional 120-volt outlet on the right side wall allows for plugging in appliances like an electric kettle or panini press. However, I must be careful not to operate the induction cooktop and another appliance simultaneously to avoid overloading the inverter. Beneath the cooktop is a drawer with a locking mechanism that stores cooking set and an electric kettle. I was fortunate to find push-to-open drawer slides, which create a clean drawer face without the need for handles or protruding locks. This is especially important given the cooking unit's placement near the van's entry and exit point, where any protrusions would be obstructive. Here are some extra features built into the cooking and storage module. A recent addition is a shoe tray holder, designed to store ABS plastic trays for muddy or wet shoes upon entering the van. These trays are then stored under the bed to keep the interior clean and let the shoes dry overnight. Previously, we kept shoes under the van to protect them from rain, but wind and rain still occasionally left them wet and cold. Umbrella holder. During a trip to the Canadian Rockies in late September 2024, we experienced several days of rain and nighttime temperatures around 2 degrees Celsius at Kicking Horse Campground. We realized the need for some form of shelter at the entry door to prevent rain from entering the van while putting on or taking off shoes and jackets. I considered various options, including roof-mounted canopies. However, I needed something lightweight and easily removable. Then I had an idea: a large IKEA umbrella, which is about 130 centimeters or 52-inch diameter, would be ideal. At only $7 Canadian, it was also a very budget-friendly solution. The challenge was how to use it hands-free while dealing with shoes. Remembering the umbrella holders used on golf carts, I found a suitable model and bolted it to the cooking unit wall. When not needed, the holder collapses downward, staying out of the way during cooking. When it rains, the umbrella can be easily deployed in the holder, providing shelter while entering or exiting the van. Towel holder. A removable and adjustable towel holder is mounted on the front of the cabinet. It can be easily relocated to the fridge cabinet or the folding table. The holder accommodates varying cabinet wall thicknesses and is also length adjustable. Garbage bag. We previously used a plastic garbage bag that simply hung on the floor, which was unsightly. Traditional garbage cans, even small ones, proved too bulky for the limited space, constantly obstructing movement in the van and interfering with the bed-to-sofa conversion. I then found an ideal solution. This fancy garbage bag with a magnetic closure and a built-in light that activates upon opening. I further modified it by adding an extra magnet on its back and put a metal disc on the toilet wall for secure mounting. This solution put our garbage management to a new level. There are a few potential areas of improvement of the cooking and storage module. Replace HDPE inserts with metal. While developing the sliding mechanism for the units, I couldn't find suitable metal inserts for the tracks I chose, even on Amazon or AliExpress. I suspect these types of tracks are designed for use only with matching track bolts, which I attempted to use but found difficult to align when connecting the units. As a result, I fabricated the matching inserts from HDPE blocks. Although this solution works, I would prefer metal ones for increased reliability, especially in emergency driving situations. Metal simply provides greater peace of mind than plastic. Add storage unit drawer. Storage unit currently houses the toilet, but this space can be repurposed for other items when toilet facilities are available at campsites. While packing cubes or storage boxes could be used to organize it, I believe a large drawer with a face covering the current opening would be the ideal solution. I intend to use the same locking drawer slides as in the cooking module for a consistent and secure design. Cover up openings around the induction stove. I'm considering covering the openings around the induction cooktop to hide exposed wiring. However, the supporting arms restrict the available space for a cover, and the cooktop's angled control panel further complicates this. This makes adding a full countertop-style cover less practical. Leveling feature for the stove. As mentioned in my previous video about the van's floor, the incline toward the front can make cooking, especially frying, challenging due to oil pooling on one side of the pan. I initially considered building a leveling mechanism into the cooking unit to compensate for this. However, recent trips have shown this isn't a significant issue, so I will most likely skip this feature, as it would require extensive modifications to the cooking unit's top section. During my first year of van camping in the summer of 2023 is used a basic, easy setup of Thomann portable power station and 200-watt folding solar panels. I was also able to connect Thomann to my Alternator via cigarette outlet to charge it while driving. I had sufficient power for a BUJ-RV fridge, electric kettle, fans, and various USB rechargeable accessories like lights and a shower pump. Thomann capacity was enough for about 2 to 3 days of camping. When I started planning of my build in the beginning of 2024, I wanted to significantly increase my power capacity to support a fully electric cooking setup and ensure 4 to 5 days of off-grid power, even without sun or driving. Several days with no charge may happen quite often in British Columbia, when you are staying on a campground for a prolonged amount of time and there is no sunny skies. One of the options of solving the capacity problem was to add Thomann expansion battery to my power station, to expand capacity to almost 3,000 watt-hours. But there was a small inconvenience with Thomann power station. It had an auto shut-off feature that cut power if no draw was detected for a period of time, which was problematic for appliances that don't constantly consume energy. Also, in case I need to move Thomann outside the van for a few hours for recharging from 120-volt outlet, all electrical appliances in the van would have no power, especially critical for fridge content. So I decided to build permanent electrical system with a dedicated battery to power the fridge and other essential components, independent of the Thomann unit. While Thomann power station would complement it, and work side by side as the hybrid system. This hybrid dual battery approach shaped the overall design of the electrical module. A separate inverter wasn't necessary, as the Vtoman power station already had one built-in with three 120-volt outlets, 1,000-watt load capacity, and up to 2,000-watt surges. The Vtoman unit needed to be easily portable for use outside the van, let's say during power outages at home, for outdoor cooking at a picnic table, or for recharging at an AC outlet. The main battery needed to be chargeable via solar panels and the vehicle's alternator. The Vtoman power station had to automatically recharge from the main battery after being used for powering cooking appliances. Space constraints presented a significant challenge during the electrical module's design and construction. The cabinet's depth was limited by the need to maximize bed width. I had just enough clearance to be able to shift bed into sofa mode and vice versa. Furthermore, the cabinet's length was constrained by the curvature of the van's sidewall, necessitating a similarly curved countertop and narrower left sidewall. The Vtoman unit, which protrudes slightly from the cabinet, had to fit under the bed. The bed's foot section even includes a dedicated cutout to accommodate the power station when the bed is in use. To fit the electrical components, I had to create cutouts in the front wall of the cabinet, gaining an additional half-inch of space for the main battery and Renogy controller. And countertop had to be precisely cut to follow the curvature of the van door and the wall, with minimum clearance to avoid big gap, which is usually a magnet of some small items on top of the counter. When choosing the main battery, I evaluated various options from multiple manufacturers, considering maximum watt-hour capacity within the available space, the dimensions of the designated installation area, safety for in-van installation. I selected the eco-worthy metal case battery due to the following reasons. Safe metal casing, ideal for automotive applications. Large 19-20 watt-hour capacity with a small footprint. Integrated handle for easier installation and removal. However, there were some challenges to solve. Fitting the battery required cutting an opening in the cabinet's front face, which, as it turned out, not only provided the precious half an inch of necessary depth, but also increased the battery's cooling surface. The lack of dedicated mounting holes or hardware on the battery casing necessitated creating a special plywood-made harness to secure the battery within the cabinet. I researched various battery chargers and chose the Renogy DCC30S due to the following reasons. All-in-one DC-DC and MPPT charging capabilities. It accepts both solar and car alternator power sources and has smart algorithm which one to use based on various factors. Ability to charge the car starter battery when the auxiliary battery is full, a crucial feature for modern vehicles with power-hungry accessories, especially during extended stationary periods at a campground. Compact design. Front panel status lights for quick monitoring. Bluetooth connectivity and app control for detailed information. My limited space presented a couple of challenges. The DCC30S requires horizontal mounting and adequate ventilation for its passive cooling system. Due to space constraints, I had to mount it vertically in a space filled with other electronic parts, which restricted airflow. To compensate, I added a 120mm ultra-quiet fan behind the unit's cooling radiator for forced air ventilation. To achieve a flush mount with the cabinet face, I built a custom removable frame to house the charger and its fan. The frame's rear panel accommodates fuses, the Renogy Bluetooth module, a power switch for the cooling fan, and a 5-volt transformer for the ventilation fans which are mounted over the driver and passenger seats in front of the car. The Renogy One-Core display is another valuable addition to my setup. Powered by the main 12-volt battery, it allows me to monitor the charger controller, utilize the RV leveling feature, including the convenient option to level the van using a phone app while sitting in the driver's seat. I found this leveling feature particularly useful at the uneven campsites of Kicking Horse Campground in the fall of 2024. The control panel, which looks a lot like an airplane cockpit, crams a multitude of switches and outlets into the limited space on the electrical module's cabinet left side wall. As previously mentioned, this wall's width is restricted by the van's curvature, and the space behind it is equally tight, making wiring a challenge. The panel includes a thermometer for monitoring temperatures inside and outside the van, a three-way switch for the LED puck light, an in and out fan switch for the ventilation module above the front seats, two reserved switches for future additions, such as LED string lights and other potential functions, the Renogy one-core display, 12-volt cigarette lighter outlets with dedicated switches for devices like heating blanket, USB-A and USB-C power outlets with a switch to prevent battery drain when not in use, a propane detector. While I don't use propane for indoor cooking, I carry cylinders in the trunk for my outdoor barbecue and need a safety warning if they leak, a reserved 120-volt receptacle currently in use, cut-off switches for the main battery, solar input, and alternator input, compact, high-capacity, up to 90 amps, power source input connectors for solar and alternator charging. I mounted an adjustable cable tie that provides basic cable management near the USB outputs. The adjacent storage compartment holds a bag containing wireless chargers and extra cables, the thermometer's outdoor sensor, which I modified with a magnet for easy attachment to the van's exterior when parked. It's crucial to properly secure the electrical system to ensure safety in the event of an accident. The last thing you want is a power station becoming a projectile during emergency braking. Electrical module cabinet, secured to the plywood floor using a steel angle on the right side, adjacent to the sink module, and aluminum angles bolted to the plywood on the left. The right wall is bolted to the sink module cabinet for added stability. Main battery, held securely in place by a custom-built plywood harness, designed for easy removal without requiring disassembly of the entire cabinet. Vtoman power station, designed for easy installation and removal, positioned and stabilized by the cabinet's front face, with an added block for precise depth placement, secured from above and the sides by a custom plywood locking mechanism with oversized latches. Here are some tips and tricks I used while building electrical module. For the main battery connection, I needed one 0-gauge all-copper wire, which is expensive and typically sold in long lengths. Needing only about 4 feet, buying a large spool was impractical. I found a solution at Princess Auto, welding cable sold by the foot, available in various gauges. It is a Canadian retailer, but I think similar stores available in other countries. Several wires run from the electrical module to power the fridge, pump, ventilation, and other systems. I used electrical connectors to easily disconnect the module from this wiring network. The regular automotive connectors I purchased from Amazon proved unreliable and poorly made. I then discovered Deutsch DT connectors, designed for robust and reliable connections in industrial and commercial transportation. I'm very impressed with them, and especially like the distinctive triangular connector with such a unique shape. You might notice a magnetic telescopic pickup tool attached to the metal folding arm behind the folding table. Its purpose within my van might not be immediately obvious. It addresses the Vtoman's auto shutoff feature, which becomes problematic when the bed is set up, blocking access to the Vtoman's controls. I lift the mattress corner closest to the Vtoman and use the telescopic tool, inserted through a ventilation hole in the bed's foot section, to turn the inverter on or off. It's a simple but effective solution. I have a few planned improvements for the electrical module. I plan to add a Renogy battery shunt for more accurate battery performance tracking. Fitting it above the main battery will be a tight squeeze. I'll connect the string LED lights to the in-use switch on the control panel. This will make them much more accessible for turning off when going to sleep, as their current switch is on the ventilation unit over the front seats. I'll connect the reserved 120-volt receptacle to the Vtoman inverter output, allowing me to use AC-powered devices even when the bed is set up and blocking access to the Vtoman unit. In my previous episode about the electrical module, I described my initial camping setup from the summer of 2023, of Toman portable power station and 200-watt folding solar panels, which I also connected to the alternator for charging while driving. This setup adequately powered a Bouge RV fridge, electric kettle, fans, and various USB rechargeable accessories, providing about 2 to 3 days of off-grid power. However, the daily setup and takedown of the folding solar panels was inconvenient. Leaving them unattended on the roof while away was also risky. Therefore, a permanently mounted solar setup became a necessity, providing continuous charging whenever sunlight was available. Furthermore, my plan to transition to fully electric cooking required a significantly larger solar input than the existing 200-watt system to support the increased battery capacity. My research into solar panel options quickly became overwhelming due to the abundance of technical terms like monocrystalline, rigid versus flexible, bifacial, and CIGS. I discovered that options like CIGS flexible panels that can be glued directly to the roof for a seamless look, and bifacial panels that harvest energy from both sides. However, these advanced features came at a significant cost, sometimes doubling the price for the same power output. I soon determined that CIGS panels weren't suitable for my Sienna due to its uneven roof surface and large moonroof. Bifacial panels also proved impractical, as their close proximity to the roof would prevent sufficient light from reaching the back. This led me to the traditional monocrystalline panel. These panels are commonly used in off-grid applications like RVs, boats, and campers. Their corrosion-resistant aluminum frames are ideal for extended outdoor use, ensuring decades of performance. Pre-drilled mounting holes also simplify installation. And best of all, they were the most cost-effective option. The next challenge was maximizing power generation from the limited roof space. Initially, I planned to use only a portion of the roof, reserving the rest for future additions like a shower water storage pipe, similar to Eric and Joy's Earth design, or a retractable awning. To maximize solar power generation within this constraint, I considered sliding or unfolding panels, and even rotating platform to direct the panels towards the sun. I even explored motorized sun tracking system for optimal efficiency. I was aiming for the stars in my dreams, or actually the single star our planet revolves around. After weeks of sketching and designing complex solar solutions, I realized I was overcomplicating the project. A system with numerous moving parts increases the likelihood of failure, especially when subjected to the vibrations of a moving vehicle. And extra complexity also significantly increases the cost. With my camping vacation approaching, at the end of May I needed a working solar setup quickly. I decided on a simpler solution, at least for the summer of 2024. 2 panels bolted flat to the roof crossbars. This simple setup would work for the season and allow me to test if its performance is suitable for my needs, or requires redesign and additional modifications. I purchased 2 195-watt eco-worthy panels, each measuring approximately 52 by 26 inches and weighing 21 pounds each. My 5 weeks of camping last summer demonstrated that even with suboptimal sun positioning or cloudy weather, the solar panels generated enough power to replenish my daily battery usage for cooking. If not, my dual battery system provided sufficient power for up to 5 days without external charging to gap those cloudy days. I also retained my original folding Toman panels, which provide an additional 200 watt of output, and carry them in my van as an additional insurance. These can be precisely positioned for optimal sun exposure and offer extra power during cloudy weather or when the van is parked in the shade. Using a long cable, I can place them in a sunny location away from any obstructions. While they serve as a backup, I didn't actually need to use them during my trips in the summer of 2024, which proved that my simple setup is sufficient. The challenge, as always, was finding storage for them within the minivan's limited space. I found the perfect spot behind the driver's seat, where they're readily available should I need the extra solar boost. While mounting the panels directly on the crossbars isn't as aesthetically pleasing as some setups I've seen, like Bruce Park's design, where the panels are integrated between the roof rails, I opted for simplicity for the 2024 season. I used inexpensive Amazon crossbars as the mounting base, securing the panels with stainless steel bolts that fit the crossbar slots. These 8 bolts create a robust and secure structure suitable for driving, with no moving parts or complex tilting mechanisms. This simple setup unexpectedly provided an additional benefit. The raised panels create a secondary roof layer over the moonroof, allowing its use even during rain. To prevent leaks between the panels, I applied adhesive foam taped to the edge of one panel where it overlaps the moonroof opening. Mounting the panels then compressed the tape, creating a seal. Furthermore, the 2 large panels cover more than half of the minivan's roof, providing significant shade and reducing interior heat during the summer. I followed Bruce Park's YouTube tutorial for routing solar cables from the roof of a 3rd-generation Sienna without causing any major damage. Despite searching for a shorter route, I couldn't find a better solution. Here's how the cables run from the solar panels to the electrical module in my setup. The solar panels are connected in parallel using a Y connector and protected by inline fuses. The cables then run under the rear hatch and are secured with self-adhesive cable clips. I drilled a 1-inch hole and installed a white silicone grommet to protect the cables from chafing against the opening's edge. The cables then run beneath the van's body and enter through an opening near the jack compartment. I used foam pipe insulation to protect the cables and prevent insect intrusion. Finally, the cables enter the van's interior beneath the interior wall and continue across the underside of the bed platform foundation. In addition to solar power, my main battery is also charged by the vehicle's alternator while driving. I use a Renogy DC-DC MPPT controller, which manages both power sources and charges the battery from the optimal source, prioritizing solar input. I ran a positive cable from the starter battery through the firewall, using the routing method demonstrated in Bruce Park's helpful video. A negative cable run directly to the battery wasn't necessary. I connected it to the van's chassis to minimize cable length. A 50-amp circuit breaker, mounted under the hood, provides protection by cutting off the starter battery in case of a short circuit or if isolation is required. The Renogy controller offers a valuable additional feature. When the auxiliary battery is full and excess solar energy is available, it begins charging the vehicle's starter battery. This is particularly beneficial in my Sienna XLE, with its many power-hungry accessories, sliding doors, windows, sun, and moonroof. In 2023, before installing this system, I experienced a dead starter battery after staying at a campground for a week without driving. This new feature on the Renogy controller is therefore essential for me. The 2023 incident with the depleted starter battery prompted me to implement a safeguard for periods when the camping setup, including the Renogy charger and solar panels, is removed in the fall. I purchased a small, eco-worthy portable solar trickle charger. It sits on the dashboard and connects directly to the starter battery, providing enough charge to maintain its condition. This is particularly useful when leaving the car at airport parking for extended periods. While this trickle charger can connect to a cigarette lighter output, a direct connection to the starter battery is necessary. Since my Sienna's cigarette lighter connector is switched off when the car is off, I installed a dedicated SAE input port near driver's footrest. It is connected directly to the battery, matching the connector type used on my trickle charger cable. This port also simplifies manual charging during the winter months when sunlight is scarce. My Noco Genius charger, which normally connects with clamps under the hood, was also modified with the matching connector. This allows me to charge the battery without opening the hood through this universal charging port, which is much more convenient. Both the solar and alternator lines connect to the electrical module through XT90 connectors, which are rated for up to 90 amps. I initially considered SAE connectors but couldn't find precise specifications, so I opted for the XT90 for a higher safety margin. Both inputs are equipped with cutoff switches capable of handling up to 200 amps, allowing for complete isolation of these power sources. An additional cutoff switch provides full isolation of the main eco-worthy battery when needed. I am happy with my current setup, and camping season 2024 proved that it is sufficient for my needs. So no crazy moving tilting structures will be built, even though it would be a fun project. I may do one simple improvement though. Add some sort of a spoiler in front of my solar panel to improve aerodynamics and reduce air drag. This may reduce wind noise while driving, and probably have some effect on fuel efficiency. Proper ventilation is crucial for a safe and comfortable camper van experience. Breathing and cooking increase carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide levels. Ventilation expels CO and CO2, keeping air fresh and safe. Fresh airflow ensures enough oxygen, vital for health, especially in confined spaces. Ventilation removes excess heat in summer, keeping your van cool and comfortable. Good ventilation is non-negotiable for safety, comfort, and health, making every journey more enjoyable. In 2023, my camper van's ventilation setup was functional, but had its limitations. I used mosquito nets secured with strip magnets for the moonroof and side windows, allowing fresh air in while keeping bugs out. However, the magnets were weak, which meant I had to remove the nets before driving and set them up again at each stop, a tedious process. Additionally, on hot days, the setup didn't provide adequate airflow since there was no forced air system in place. While it worked to some extent, the lack of sufficient ventilation made the van uncomfortable during warmer weather. For the 2024 season, I focused on improving my camper van's ventilation with a more practical and secure approach. I considered improving passive ventilation for the side windows, but found it too exposed. It's noticeable, potentially attracting malicious attention, and makes the van easier to break into. Instead, I decided to focus on the moonroof, which is in a perfect, discreet location. It's not easily visible or accessible thanks to the solar panels covering it. The solar panels also provides an added benefit by shielding the moonroof opening from rain, ensuring airflow even in wet weather without risking leaks. This upgrade offers better ventilation while maintaining security and weather protection. To improve mosquito protection in my camper van, I set out to build a permanent and practical mosquito screen setup. My previous solution used flexible magnet strips, but they lacked durability and didn't provide a secure hold. For the new design, I replaced the weak magnet strips with a sturdy frame which also used strip magnets, but was reinforced with embedded neodymium magnets for a stronger grip. Big fixed monolithic frame has its own challenge. It is inconvenient to store when not in use. To address this issue, I built a modular frame with separable parts. This design is easy to store as it disassembles into smaller frame pieces. The net is not glued to the frame, but held in place by magnetic force, making it simple to replace if it gets damaged or worn out. It is strong enough to withstand airflow force while I drive my van with speeds up to 120 kilometers per hour. This solution combines durability, convenience, and flexibility, providing effective mosquito protection for my van life adventures. To enhance airflow in my camper van, I installed an active ventilation module featuring variable speed fans for both intake and exhaust. The module is integrated into the front sunroof, making it a non-permanent setup that's easy to remove during the off-season. I used ABS plastic sheet as the base of the module. It is easy to cut, and it is flexible a little, which helps when you install ventilation module into sunroof opening. The module is protected by the tilting glass of the sunroof, shielding it from rain while maintaining airflow. It uses 5-volt USB fans with adjustable speeds, providing effective forced air circulation to complement the van's passive ventilation system. Control is convenient, with options to adjust the fans directly on the module panel or remotely turn on or off via a switch on the main electrical panel. Module panel has fan switch and 3 position controls to adjust their speed. Additionally, I installed a light switch for my delightful LED string lights, which provide warm, ambient lighting over the cabinet area, enhancing the cozy atmosphere inside the van. To keep bugs out, the fan openings are equipped with Silverstone fan filters featuring a honeycomb grill. These not only serve as mosquito netting, but also protect the fan blades effectively. To stay cool during hot summer days and nights, I use a 5-volt USB rechargeable fan inside my camper van. With a charge that lasts several days and multiple speed settings, it's both efficient and versatile. The fan is mounted on the driver's seat headrest, allowing it to rotate in different directions to provide targeted airflow. It's especially useful on warm nights, making the van more comfortable for sleeping. This simple yet effective addition ensures a pleasant and refreshing breeze when temperatures rise. I'm considering a few upgrades to improve the efficiency of my camper van's ventilation system. Currently, my ventilation module has both intake and exhaust fans. However, I've heard that having both fans as exhaust units could be more effective for cooling the van on hot days by creating a stronger pull of warm air out, while passive vents allow cooler air to flow in naturally. I'm also exploring the option of replacing the current fans with more powerful ones that offer higher airflow. This could significantly enhance ventilation, particularly during hot weather, and make the interior more comfortable. For a long time, camping for me meant dealing with the hassle of setting up a tent, only to take it down again, sometimes in the rain, leaving me with a soggy mess to dry out once I got home. It was a process I never looked forward to, and it often made short trips feel like more trouble than they were worth. One of the main reasons I decided to convert my minivan into a camper was to break free from that cycle. I wanted the freedom to park, relax, and sleep comfortably without the constant setup and takedown of a traditional tent. Having a camper van has made travel so much easier and more enjoyable. That said, not all tents are a burden. In fact, there are some specialized tents designed specifically to complement a camper setup. These can add valuable extra space, provide shelter from the elements, and make life on the road more convenient. While designing my camper, I realized that my vacations fall into two distinct modes, each requiring different gear and a different approach to setting up camp. First mode, travel mode. This is when I'm constantly on the move, driving during the day, stopping for a night or two, and then continuing my journey. Since I don't stay in one place for long, setting up an elaborate campsite doesn't make sense. The goal is to keep things simple and efficient, arrive at my stop for the night, prepare a quick meal, and get some rest before hitting the road again. For this kind of travel, extra gear, like a large water tank or a propane stove for outdoor cooking, is more of a hassle than a benefit. Instead, I rely on my camper van's built-in features to minimize setup time and keep things streamlined. Second mode, camping mode. This is when I plan to stay in one spot for several days, usually at a campground or a scenic location where I can relax and enjoy the surroundings. Since I'm staying put, it makes sense to bring extra gear for comfort and convenience. A picnic table, for example, provides the perfect space to set up a larger 2-burner propane stove for more elaborate cooking. I also can bring additional equipment like a paddleboard, a bike, or even a portable fire pit to make the stay more enjoyable. In this case, I load all my extra gear into the van and secure it with bungee cords for the drive. Once I arrive at my campsite, I unload everything and store it outside, freeing up space inside the van so I can set up my bed comfortably for the night. By understanding these two modes of travel, I can plan my trips more effectively, packing light when I'm on the move and bringing extra comforts when I'm settling in for a longer stay. In the summer of 2023, before I had fully built out my camper, my setup was pretty basic. I just had an inflatable mattress inside the van. Since I didn't have built-in storage yet, I had to carry my camping essentials in a set of plastic totes, which meant I needed a place to store them once I arrived at my campsite. After researching different options, I came across a bike storage tent on Amazon. It was quick to set up, came in multiple sizes, and seemed like a great solution. I chose a mid-sized version that was just the right fit for my gear. It turned out to be perfect. I was able to store multiple 27-gallon storage totes inside, keeping my camping supplies organized and protected. Plus, the tent had enough space left over that I could even use it as a private changing area, which was a nice bonus. Even now, after converting my van into a full camper, I still use this storage tent when I'm in camping mode. For longer trips, like week-long stays at provincial campgrounds, it's the ideal way to keep extra gear, like cooking supplies, a bike, or a paddleboard, outside the van while keeping my living space uncluttered. If you're planning to spend time at the beach, especially in an open area without trees or natural shade, having a reliable sunshade is a must. In the past, I used a traditional canopy, which, like a tent, required poles and took time to set up and take down. While it did the job, I wanted something lighter, more compact, and easier to use. That's when I discovered a pop-up beach tent on Amazon, and it was a total game changer. Unlike a standard canopy, this tent practically sets itself up. You simply open the storage bag, take it out, toss it onto the ground where you want it, and just like that, It pops open and transforms into a sunshade in seconds. It's the perfect size for two people to escape the sun, providing just enough shade without taking up too much space. And I love how compact it is when folded, measuring only 24 inches in diameter and just a couple of inches thick. It fits perfectly in the narrow slot between my car's trunk wall and the support leg of my camper bed, making it incredibly easy to store and bring along on any trip. For anyone who loves beach days but hates the hassle of setting up bulky shade structures, this pop-up tent is an absolute must-have. At first, I had planned to create a DIY shower curtain setup for my minivan. The idea was to attach it to the vehicle, making it removable and storable in crossbar slots or beneath the solar panels. It seemed like a good solution at the time. But then I came across the camp shower pop-up tent on Amazon, and it completely changed my approach. This tent works just like the sunshade tent I use for the beach. You simply throw it on the ground, and within seconds, you have an instant shower room, no hassle involved. Not only is it incredibly easy to set up, but the tent also has a ton of practical features on the inside. Clips, pockets, and hangers, perfect for storing towels, soap, or other small essentials while you're using it. This tent is incredibly versatile. I use it as a shower room when I need to freshen up, but it's also perfect for a changing room or even setting up a portable toilet for outdoor use. Ideal for my Trillino. Like my sunshade tent, this shower tent folds down to a compact 24-inch diameter and stores at the same width. It fits neatly in my van's trunk, on the opposite side of the bed, making it easy to store and grab when I need it. For anyone looking for a quick, convenient, and multi-purpose solution for privacy and cleanliness on the road, this camp shower tent is a must-have. One of the simplest ways to add storage to a minivan camper is slapping a cargo box on the roof. Tempting, right? Well, I decided against it. I dedicated my entire roof space to solar panels. I need all the power I can get. Some ferries have height restrictions, and I don't want to be stuck figuring that out last minute. Extra air drag means lower fuel efficiency and more noise. This meant I had to fit everything inside my minivan, which made smart organization absolutely essential. If you've seen my previous videos, you know that space limitations shaped almost every design decision in my build. Here are some key ones. Height of the bed platform, a tricky balance between enough headroom and ample storage underneath. My slim electrical cabinet, squeezed between the wall and the bed. And travel versus camping mode approach I use while planning and decide what to load for the trip. With such a compact space, every inch counts. Some storage areas become inaccessible when my bed is set up, so I had to be strategic about what goes where. My method? Categorizing everything into 3 groups based on how often and when exactly I need it. When living in a compact space like a minivan, organization is the key. Having a system to decide where everything goes saves time, reduces stress, and keeps the van from turning into a chaotic mess. That's why I divide everything into 3 main categories. First, immediate. These are my must-have items, the things I need within arm's reach throughout the day and especially at night. I should be able to grab them without digging through storage bins or shifting things around. Second, essential. These items are still important, but I don't need them instantly. They can wait until morning or when I have time to retrieve them. This includes backup clothing, cooking staples, and frequently used supplies. And third, long-term. These are my rarely used items, things I bring just in case or to resupply my other storage areas. This includes extra food, outdoor gear, and seasonal equipment. By keeping these categories in mind, I make sure everything has a designated place that makes sense for my daily routine. Immediate access items. These are the items I always need quick access to, whether during the day or at night. A few bottles of drinking water and LED lights for nighttime visibility, stored in the van rear side compartments, easy access, day or night. Snacks, because road trips and snacks go hand in hand. And home-cooked meals for Toby, go to the overfridge storage and my fridge underneath. For clothes in rotation, plus a spare outfit in case of rain. I use hanging organizer and clothes rack above the front seats, perfect for jackets, shirts, and smaller essentials. Packing cubes in the left rear compartment hold backup clothes, Also, I store there my heating blanket, a lifesaver for camping in colder weather. Essential storage. Items that I need frequently but not at night, like non-perishable food, such as canned goods, grains, pasta, and backup clothing, some extra underwear, socks, t-shirts. I use my underbed storage as my main storage hub for these items. It's accessible from inside, so I don't have to step out in the rain. It has removable dividers, allowing me to adjust sections as needed. I use one section for food, the others for clothes. Additionally, I can use storage box under the cooking module. Usually it holds my emergency toilet, but can double as extra storage when I go to a campground with facilities and do not need the toilet. Long-term storage. Trunk under the bed is the perfect choice for it. Sienna has plenty of room there when the back row seats are removed. This is where I stash things I want on hand for occasional use or resupply, such as Costco-sized water bottle pack. I take a few bottles from it daily to resupply my cup holders in the van. 27-gallon storage tote. Holds my barbecue with propane bottles fit inside. This box has a lid which blocks smell of barbecue inside the van. Also, I store there a tiny emergency gas stove, in case my electric setup fails. And my shower kit and other gear go into this tote as well. Compact camping chairs, small but sturdy, perfect for a minivan camper. They fit nicely on top of water bottle pack and are easy to access when needed. Box with extra food and drinks, or anything else you need during the trip. Boxes for veggies and fruit. Beach pad and towels go on top of the barbecue tote. And sunshade tent and shower tent, slotted between the bed supports for a snug fit. By the way, my bed's rear crossbar can be removed when loading heavy items, one of the many small design choices that make life easier. I also make the most of every built-in compartment in my Sienna, ensuring everything has its place. Up front, the glove box holds essentials like Toby's leash, waste bags, and a small first aid kit. Things I want to grab quickly. The center console is home to USB cables, my tire pressure pump, and other small necessities. The side door compartments are just as handy. On the driver's side, I keep my toolkit, an LED light, and an emergency glass breaker, because you never know when you might need them. The passenger side holds bottles with water refilled from campground water supply. I prefer to boil it before using for cooking. And in the sliding door, I've tucked away a fire blanket, safety first, and an IKEA water spray bottle, which comes in handy for cleaning up or wiping Toby's paws after an adventure. Near my electrical module, I store foldable solar panel cables, keeping them neatly organized. And let's not forget the space behind the front seats. That's where I keep my folding sun umbrella, and a set of foldable solar panels I use in case of cloudy days to supplement my panels fixed on the roof. Also, I store my trickle-charging solar panel in the driver's seat back pocket. It helps maintaining my starter battery during off-season. And of course, my panini press. Because no road trip is complete without a perfectly grilled sandwich. It fits nicely in the back pocket of the passenger seat. As you can see, I don't waste an inch of space in my minivan camper. Every compartment serves a purpose, making life on the road smooth and organized. I'm really happy with how my storage is set up and organized in my camper minivan. Everything has its place, making life on the road much easier. The only improvement I can think of is upgrading my clothing storage under the bed. Until now, I've been using plastic bags, packing everything together, but I'm considering switching to packing cubes for better organization. They'll let me sort my clothes into categories, making it much easier to find what I need. I recently found this set on Amazon and was amazed at how affordable it is, especially given the number of pieces included and the overall quality. I can't wait to test them out on my next camping trip. Cooking in a minivan camper is all about adaptability. You have to cook smart and avoid setting off any alarms, literally. That's why I split my cooking setup into 2 modes. Indoor cooking, safe, efficient, and perfect for when I'm using harvest host locations, which require an indoor kitchen setup. Outdoor cooking, ideal for campgrounds or those scenic picnic stops where you just have to grill something. For my travel mode trips, where I move frequently, indoor cooking is my go-to. It keeps things simple and, more importantly, keeps my eyebrows intact, no open flames inside. But when I'm camping, settled at a site for a few days, it's time to bring out the big guns. Barbecue, propane stove, and that delicious smoky flavor. Space in my minivan is precious, so every appliance I chose had to meet 3 strict criteria. Reasonable power consumption. My Vtoman power station can handle up to 2,000 watt peak, but I don't want to max it out every time I make coffee. Compact size, because playing Tetris with kitchen gear is not my idea of fun. Multi-purpose use. If an appliance only does one thing, it's probably staying home. After extensive testing and a few regrets, here's what made the cut. Induction cooktop, the workhorse for frying, boiling, and simmering. Electric kettle, perfect for coffee, tea, and even warming up water for my shower. Panini press, the fastest way to make a hot, crispy sandwich without breaking out a full kitchen setup. Induction stove. Why induction? Simple. Unlike regular hot plates, induction stoves heat the pan directly, meaning no wasted energy and faster cooking. The stove surface stays cool, no more accidental hand burns. I settled on the Duckstop portable induction cooktop, which ticks all the boxes. 1800 watts max, but with precise power control. Runs comfortably within my power station's limits. Glass surface means easy cleanup. Safety features like a lock and auto shut-off timer. When I use it on fast boil mode, it pulls around 1600 watt, and for frying eggs, around 1000 watt. It sounds a lot, but I only run it for a few minutes while cooking breakfast, so no significant drain of the battery. Regular aluminum cookware is not compatible with induction. Since I don't have an induction stove at home, I got a dedicated cookware set for my camper van. Key features of my set. Ceramic non-stick coating, because scrubbing pans in a tiny sink is not my idea of a good time. Removable handles, saves a ton of storage space. Magnetic glass lid hack. I removed the bulky silicone handles and replaced them with a magnetic system. Now one handle works for both lids, and they store flat. Genius, right? My final setup. 10-inch frying pan, 8-inch saucepan, 2 glass lids, plastic lid stored between the pans to prevent scratches. Removable handle, single lid handle with my magnetic modification. It's compact, efficient, and perfect for my needs. Sometimes, you don't want a full meal. You just want something quick, hot, and delicious without the hassle. That's where my George Foreman 2-serving panini press comes in, proving that small gadgets can pack a big punch. 760 watts power consumption. Super battery friendly, so I don't have to stress about draining my power station just for a sandwich. Compact design. This little powerhouse fits snugly into my passenger seat pocket, always within reach for a quick bite. More than just sandwiches. Sure, it's perfect for crispy paninis, but it also works wonders for warming up leftovers, making grilled cheese, and even cooking thin cuts of meat. Costco Pizza Revival Expert. Trust me on this one. If you place 2 slices face-to-face and press them together, the crust crisps up beautifully while the cheese inside melts into gooey perfection. It's the best way to bring day-old pizza back to life. Honestly, this thing has become my go-to for fast and effortless meals, especially when I don't feel like pulling out my full cooking setup. Boiling water is non-negotiable while camping. Whether it's for coffee, tea, instant soup, or even warming up water for a quick shower, my 0.8-liter stainless steel electric kettle is an essential part of my setup. Compact and lightweight, perfectly sized for van life without taking up too much space. Auto shut-off for safety. No worries about forgetting to turn it off and draining my battery. Energy efficient, just 600 watts. Keeps my power station happy while still getting the job done. And here's a fun twist. Some campers actually cook meals in their electric kettles. Think instant noodles, oatmeal, or even boiling eggs. I haven't fully embraced this kettle chef lifestyle yet, but I might give it a shot. Anything that saves time and effort while traveling is worth exploring. Sometimes, you just need the real deal. A flame, a sizzle, that unmistakable smoky aroma filling the air. And that's where propane steps in, doing its job like a true culinary sidekick. I use propane for 2 main scenarios. Grilling at campsites, because let's be honest, nothing beats the flavor of food cooked over an open flame. It's like a flavor boost straight from nature itself. Plus, it makes me feel like a true outdoorsman, even if I'm still working on my campfire building skills. Backup cooking. You know those moments when your battery's running low and you're trying to make one last meal before everything shuts down? That's when propane saves the day. No need to panic. Just fire up the grill and keep the good times and food rolling. My barbecue grill is my outdoor workhorse. Meet my Weber Q1000 portable barbecue, aka my steak and sausage machine. Cast aluminum body, that means indestructible. Spacious enough for meats and veggies. Stores 3 propane cylinders inside the dome, space hack. I even bought a griddle attachment, because why not make pancakes on a barbecue? I store my Weber in a plastic storage tote, tucked away in the trunk under my bed. Even though I clean the grill after every use, let's be real, there's always a little lingering barbecue aroma. The tote lid does a great job of keeping those smoky, mouth-watering smells locked in, so my van doesn't end up smelling like a roadside steakhouse. Tempting, but not ideal. For serious outdoor cooking, I use my propane stove. When I'm camping, my Martin portable gas stove becomes the star of the show. It is dual burner, because breakfast and coffee are equally important, and I refuse to choose between them. Has wind protection, no more awkwardly hunching over the flame, looking like I'm casting a spell just to keep it from blowing out. Features 20,000 BTU output. That's enough power to sear a steak, boil water in record time, or probably launch a small rocket. Propane compatibility runs on the same cylinders as my grill, so I don't have to carry extra gear like some kind of propane hoarder. Has electric ignition, no fumbling with matches or lighters, because nothing says fun camping experience like nearly singeing your eyebrows in the wind. Tiny but mighty backup stove. This thing is wild. My mini camping stove is super compact, fits in a tiny orange box. Surprisingly powerful and slightly terrifying. Serves as my emergency backup for those just-in-case moments when I do not have my dual-burner Martin stove with me. If my electrical setup fails for some reason, or there is not enough power to recharge by batteries, it waits patiently in my storage tote, ready to unleash its fiery magic when needed. Let's be honest, no day starts right without a cup of coffee. That's why the coffee maker is a must-have in my camper. Sure, I'd love a fancy espresso machine, but space is tight, and let's be real, I don't need to be carrying around an industrial coffee maker on wheels. So I had to get creative and find a compact solution that's easy to clean, because let's face it, no one wants to spend their morning scrubbing coffee grinds. Meet AeroPress. A few years ago, before I even built my camper, my friends recommended this little gem. It's ridiculously easy to use. Just add coffee, pour in some hot water, then wait a minute and press it through like you're operating a tiny coffee-making syringe. The cleanup? Super simple. The leftover coffee forms a nice puck that just pops right out. Rinse it, and you're good to go. There is a bigger version of AeroPress for home use, but I recommend a travel version of AeroPress that packs everything up into a neat little setup, perfect for making coffee for 2 while you're on the road. Hey there, fellow van lifers. You've built yourself a cozy little camper, and you're ready to hit the road. But before you take off, let's talk safety, because the only thing worse than running out of snacks is waking up to smoke, sparks, or a surprise gas leak. A minivan camper is a home on wheels, which means it has all the same risks as a house: fire hazards, electrical issues, gas leaks, but in a much smaller space. So today, I'm going to break down everything you need to know about staying safe in your minivan camper. Buckle up, because this is important. Electrical safety. Choosing the right battery. Your camper van battery powers everything, from your fridge to your lights. But not all batteries are created equal. Use a battery specifically designed for solar and camping vehicles, such as a deep-cycle lithium or AGM battery. These are built to handle frequent charging and discharging, making them far more reliable for off-grid adventures, because the last thing you want is a dead battery in the middle of nowhere. The latest generation of lithium batteries, lithium iron phosphate, is hands down the best option for camper vans. It boasts an exceptionally long lifespan, often lasting 10+ years, and offers superior safety. Unlike traditional lithium-ion batteries, it's far more stable and significantly less likely to catch fire if punctured or damaged. If you want reliable, worry-free power on the road, lithium iron phosphate is the way to go. A metal casing is a big plus. It adds an extra layer of protection against damage in case of an accident. Unlike plastic, it won't melt under high heat and can help contain a fire if the battery ever decides to throw a fiery tantrum. Think of it as a suit of armor for your battery. Better safe than sorry. Secure the battery, because a loose battery in a moving van is basically a high-voltage bowling ball just waiting to cause chaos. Strap it down properly, or you might end up with an unintentional science experiment on wheels. Both my Toman power station and eco-worthy battery in my camper run on lithium iron phosphate technology, one of the safest and most durable battery types available. They come with a built-in battery management system, BMS, to guard against overcharging, overdischarging, and short circuits, keeping my power setup reliable and stress-free. For added safety, the eco-worthy battery features a sturdy metal casing, which helps protect it from impact and reduces fire risk, an important factor when dealing with a moving vehicle. Durable, smart, and road trip ready. Wiring and fuses are the unsung heroes of fire prevention. Bad wiring is one of the biggest fire hazards in camper vans. Here's how to stay safe. Always use fuses. They cut power if something goes wrong. No fuse leads to potential fireworks. Proper wire thickness matters. Thin wires can overheat and start a fire. Follow electrical guidelines. Keep wiring neat and protected. No exposed wires, no mess. Use proper insulation. Label your circuits, because guessing which wire does what while something's sparking is not fun. A well-wired van means less risk of waking up to the smell of burning plastic. Don't overload your power system. Want to run a laptop, fridge, and coffee maker all at once? Cool, if your inverter can handle it. Know your inverter's limits. A 1,000-watt inverter cannot power a 1,500-watt appliance. Distribute power wisely. Don't plug everything into one overloaded socket. Check for overheating. If your inverter is hotter than your campfire, something's wrong. Using an inverter properly means keeping your van from turning into a blackout zone. Fire safety. A fire in a house is bad. A fire in a minivan? Absolutely terrifying. The biggest risks are electrical fires, from bad wiring or overloaded circuits. Cooking fires, from open flames, grease, or malfunctioning appliances. Accidental sparks, from heaters, cigarettes, or even a stray spark from a fire pit. Your best defense? Prevention and quick action. Every camper van must have a fire extinguisher. This isn't just a suggestion, it's essential. Fires can start in an instant, especially with electrical systems, propane stoves, and lithium batteries in play. A few seconds of hesitation could mean the difference between a minor scare and a total disaster. Here's how to do it right. Choose the right type. Not all fire extinguishers are created equal. Get one rated for electrical fires, Class C, and, ideally, a multi-purpose, ABC, extinguisher to cover different fire types. Lithium battery fires can be stubborn, so if you have a lithium setup, consider a specialized extinguisher for that too. Mount it somewhere accessible. In an emergency, you don't want to be digging through a storage bin. Mount your extinguisher somewhere easy to grab, like near the door or kitchen area. Check it regularly. An extinguisher that's expired or depressurized is as useful as a can of air. Check it periodically and replace as needed. I found the perfect fire extinguisher for my minivan's limited space, First Alert Auto 5. It's compact, with a Class B rating for flammable liquids and a Class C rating for live electrical equipment. Exactly what a camper van setup needs. It also comes with a sturdy mounting bracket and is designed for quick, easy operation. I mounted it on the front side wall of my bed frame, making it easily accessible both day and night, within reach when my bed is in sofa mode and accessible when I'm tucked in for the night. The mounting strap releases smoothly, so there's no fumbling in an emergency. It's a small but essential piece of safety gear that gives me serious peace of mind on the road. Fire extinguishers are great, but let's be honest, they leave a mess behind. That's where a fire blanket comes in. It's a must-have for any camper van, offering a quick and clean way to put out small fires without spraying foam or powder everywhere. Instant fire suppression. Just toss it over flames, and it cuts off oxygen immediately. No cleanup required. Unlike extinguishers, it won't leave residue all over your van. Perfect for grease and cooking fires. Since water makes grease fires worse, a fire blanket is the safest way to stop them. Keep it within arm's reach. The last thing you want is to be frantically searching for it when flames start licking up your stove. Compact, lightweight, and easy to use, a fire blanket is a simple investment that could save your van from disaster. I found a great two-piece fire blanket set on Amazon, and it's a must-have for both my minivan and home. Made of fiberglass, it won't melt or catch fire, making it a reliable solution for quickly smothering flames. I keep one fire blanket in my minivan, tucked into the sliding door for easy access. Whether it's day or night, I can grab it in seconds. The second one stays in my kitchen at home, ready to handle any unexpected cooking mishaps. It's a simple, mess-free way to stay prepared for fire emergencies, both on the road and at home. Gas and air safety. Carbon monoxide, CO, is deadly, invisible, and odorless, a danger you can't see or smell. If you cook inside your van, a CO detector is non-negotiable. Get a battery-powered CO detector. It works even if your van's power is off. Ventilate when cooking. Crack a window or run a vent fan. Fresh air is your friend. Never run a gas heater while sleeping. No matter how cold it gets, it's not worth the risk. A CO detector costs around $20. Your life? Priceless. A simple device can mean the difference between waking up in the morning or not at all. Stay safe. I found this compact CO alarm on Amazon, and it's perfect for my minivan's limited space. Despite its small size, it packs a punch with loud sound levels, impossible to ignore in an emergency. It runs on 2 AAA batteries, so it stays active even when my van is off. No worries about losing protection if I'm parked without power. I mounted it on the front side wall of my bed frame box, an ideal spot since CO tends to accumulate lower to the ground. A big bonus? It detaches easily from its base, so I can move it wherever I need it, like if I'm spending the night in a tent by a campfire. Small, portable, and life-saving. Exactly what I need for peace of mind on the road. Propane is a game-changer for cooking and heating, but a leak can turn your van into a ticking time bomb. A little caution goes a long way in keeping things safe. Store propane properly. Keep tanks preferably in a well-ventilated space. Install a propane detector, especially if you have to store the tank inside. A slow leak might not be noticeable, and by the time you smell it, it could be too late. A detector takes the guesswork out of safety. If you cook on propane, turn off the tank when not in use. No exceptions. Even a small leak can build up over time, creating a serious hazard. Check for leaks regularly. A simple soap and water test on connections can help catch issues before they become dangerous. Propane is incredibly useful, but only if handled with care. A few safety steps can mean the difference between a cozy meal and a disaster. Stay safe, stay smart. Even though I do not cook on propane inside the van, I still carry a few cylinders inside my portable Weber barbecue under my bed. I installed the compact Tecumor RV propane gas detector on the side wall of my electrical cabinet, and it's been a solid safety upgrade. It's hardwired to my 12-volt eco-worthy house battery, so it stays on 24/7. This detector doesn't just sound an alarm. It also provides a real-time concentration level display, giving me constant visibility into air quality. Mounted low to the ground, it's perfectly positioned to catch leaks early, since propane, like CO, is heavier than air and settles at the bottom first. Loud, reliable, and always on. This little device gives me peace of mind that I'll catch a leak before it becomes a real danger. Mechanical safety. And last but not least, do not forget to take care of your van itself. Oil changes. Your engine needs fresh oil to stay happy. Change it every 3,000 to 5,000 miles or whenever your van manufacturer suggests. Brake check. If your brakes sound like a dying goose, that's a problem. Get them inspected regularly. Tire care. Underinflated tires lead to the bad gas mileage. Worn-out tires is a disaster waiting to happen. Check your pressure and tread often. Battery health. A dead battery means you're stranded. Keep it charged and check for corrosion. A little maintenance goes a long way, because being stuck on the side of the road in the middle of nowhere is not an adventure. Emergency escape. Always have an exit plan. Picture this. It's the middle of the night. You hear something weird outside. You try to leave, but oops, your van is packed tighter than a burrito. Always keep a clear path to the driver's seat. No gear pileups blocking your way. If you sleep in the back, have a secondary escape route, like an unlocked sliding door or a window you can pop open. Park in a way that lets you leave quickly. Nose-out parking means no awkward 10-point turns when you're trying to escape. A good exit plan means you'll never be that person struggling to get out while a raccoon judges you. When you're traveling in the camper van, two things are always trying to sneak up on you: rain and sun. In this video, I'll show you how I tackled both of these challenges with a couple of simple and budget-friendly solutions. And believe it or not, both came from IKEA. They're quick to set up, easy to use, and perfect for anyone trying to keep their travel cozy without breaking the bank. Rain and camper vans don't always get along. I ran into a very real challenge with my minivan build. Whenever I opened the sliding door during a rainy day, water would sneak right in. It didn't just hit the floor, it got onto my bed and the cooking module cabinet too. It is super annoying, especially when the bed is set up and doesn't have a waterproof cover on it. Nothing like climbing into a soggy bed to ruin your camping vibe. At first, I considered installing a retractable awning. Seems like a great idea, right? Well, not quite. It's not exactly stealth camper friendly. They stand out, take time to set up, and can be pricey. Plus, when wind joins the party, awnings turn into flappy kites. And if you pack them up while they're still wet, say hello to mold. That's when I had a light bulb moment. Why not use a giant umbrella to cover the entrance? It's simple, portable, quick to set up, and you can actually use it when you leave the car too. I remembered seeing those massive IKEA umbrellas during rainy West Coast days. They're huge, surprisingly tough, and super budget-friendly, around $7 or even cheaper when on sale. So the next step was figuring out how to mount it hand-free. While browsing Amazon, I stumbled across the perfect hack, a golf cart umbrella holder. It's basically a clamp with a tube. Slide the umbrella handle in, tighten it down with a bolt, and you're good to go. It even folds down when not in use, so it's not in the way. Of course, new solutions bring new problems, like what to do with a wet umbrella when you get back in the van. At first, I tried storing it under the solar panel, but let's just say the wind had other plans. Plus, if water collects inside, it'll drip on your head the next time you open it. So I started searching for a better storage option. Umbrella buckets for the home? Too bulky for a tiny camper. Then I found a car umbrella storage bag, a total game changer. It catches all the water, keeps it off the camper floor, and can be attached with a magnet so I can move it or take it out easily. No puddles, no mess. Now I'm actually excited when it rains. Well, almost. If the forecast looks rough, I preset the umbrella holder and keep the umbrella ready. When I'm ready to head out, I open the door, pop open the umbrella while staying dry inside, and slide it into the holder. And I have perfect hands-free rain protection while I slip on my shoes. And coming back is just as smooth. I slide the umbrella into the holder, get in, take off my jacket and shoes, and then drop the wet umbrella into the storage bag. No wet floor, no fuss, and everything stays nice and dry inside. You know sunny weather is great, until it starts feeling like you're living inside a toaster. I decided early on to skip the whole retractable awning thing as it is too bulky, too fussy, too expensive. I wanted something simple, quick to set up, easy to pack away, and if possible, something I could use both at my van and at a campsite. And once again, IKEA saved the day. I found this rectangular sun umbrella that checked every single box. Rectangular shape? Perfect. Hugs the van like it was custom made. Easy to unfold? Absolutely, even before coffee. Size? Just right, not too big, not too small. Storage? Slides neatly behind my front seats like it was meant to live there. But, and there's always a but. How do you actually attach an umbrella to a moving piece of metal? Usually these umbrellas are meant for patios, with those huge, heavy bases that scream, I belong in a backyard, not a tiny camper van. Definitely not an option when every inch of space counts. And here's where my trusty solar panels and the crossbar underneath swooped in like superheroes. There's a gap under the solar panel, just big enough for a clever little hack. I used a Vevertruck bed adjustable bar, removed the original pads, and added a heavy-duty aluminum clamp. Fancy words for, I Frankensteined a solution together. Then I mounted the bar using aluminum mounting brackets. I had to drill a few extra holes in the brackets to fit my crossbar slot. To keep it solid, I secured everything with stainless steel slot bolts, because shaky umbrellas are only funny in cartoons, and you do not want the crossbar fly away while you drive on the highway. And now, when I need instant shade over my van entrance, it takes me literally 3 quick and easy steps. 1. Extend the telescopic bar. 2. Grab the IKEA umbrella. 3. Unfold and clamp it in place. And it is done. Instant shady paradise. And the best part? This umbrella isn't just a one-trick pony. I picked up a special outdoor umbrella clamp with a wide opening that fits chunky campground tables. Now I can have shade over my lunch like a king. I just clip it where I want, slide the umbrella in, and boom, I have a gourmet lunch, minus the sunburn. So whether it's by my van or by my feast, this little IKEA hack turned out to be a real game changer. Stay shady, my friends. Tired of waking up in a pitch-black van with your blackout shades sealing out every bit of sunlight? Wish your camper felt a little more like home instead of a cave on wheels? Then stick around. This video's got a simple, cozy, and super effective solution you're gonna love. Full blackout sunshades like WeatherTech are a must-have for van life, especially if you're doing a lot of stealth camping. They give you total privacy and help regulate temperature, making your van feel secure and comfortable overnight. But if you're parked at a campsite or not worried about full blackout, adding curtains is a fantastic alternative. There is no more daily routine of putting up and taking down your blinds. Curtains give you quick and easy access to natural light. They add a warm, cozy, home-like vibe to your space. While searching for the perfect curtains for my van, I had a few key goals in mind. I didn't just want anything. I needed something practical, safe, and van life friendly. Here's my wish list. Easy to install. No drilling, no permanent modifications to the van. Lightweight. No heavy rails or hardware that could become a hazard in an emergency. Full coverage. Privacy is a must, so no light gaps allowed. Compatible with my WeatherTech blinds, I wanted the flexibility to use both setups. No interference with van functions. The curtains shouldn't block the sliding door or window operation. I found these curtains for my Sienna minivan camper, and the difference was instant. They completely transformed the vibe, making the space feel warmer, cozier, and a lot more like home. The curtains come in a few color and size options, so it's easy to find a style that fits your setup. Each set includes 2 curtains and the right number of mounting self-adhesive rails, making installation super straightforward. For my Sienna, I went with the 50 by 47 centimeters gray sets. I needed 2 curtains for each side window and 3 for the rear window. That added up to 4 sets total to fully cover all the main windows. They're functional, lightweight, and seriously one of the easiest upgrades I've made to the van. There are multiple benefits of this curtain setup. No damage installation. The self-adhesive curtain rails are super easy to install and don't damage the van's interior. Plus, they're just as easy to remove later if I ever decide to sell the van. Lightweight and safe. The plastic rails are very light, so in the event of an accident, there's no risk of heavy projectiles flying around. Flexible and customizable. With a bit of heat from a heat gun, the rails can be bent to perfectly match the curves of the windows. Works with blackout blinds. The rails are slim enough that I can still slide in my WeatherTech blackout shades when I want to go full stealth mode. Clean look and full coverage. The curtains attach at both the top and bottom, so they stay neatly in place with no gaps. The stretch fabric also adapts to the varying window heights, giving a clean and custom fit. Cozy and private. The fabric allows natural light to filter through, creating a warm, cozy vibe inside while still maintaining privacy. No interference with van functions. Best of all, the sliding doors and windows still work normally. Nothing gets in the way. Installation is easy. Put the rails to size. Use a sharp knife to trim the rails to fit your window. Tip: if your window is wide and one curtain isn't enough, you can use multiple curtains and rails side by side. Shape the rails if needed. Use a heat gun to gently bend the plastic rails so they follow the curve or shape of your window. Mount the rails. Apply the self-adhesive rails on the top and bottom of the window frame. Important: leave a small gap between the rail and the window glass. This makes room for full blackout inserts like WeatherTech blinds. Slide in the curtains. Install the curtains into the top and bottom rails. Seal the sides if needed. If your window has an irregular shape, use transparent cable clips on the sides to hold the curtain in place and close any gaps. I hope you enjoyed seeing how these cozy new curtains transform my camper. They've really made it feel like home. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I've got plenty more exciting updates and build ideas coming your way. In my last video, I showed you how I added window curtains to make my camper feel a little cozier, like a tiny rolling cabin on wheels. They're not full blackout as we're not trying to live in a cave here, but they give enough privacy for campground life or casual non-stealth camping. But there was one glaring gap. That big, wide-open space between the front seats and my cozy living room. Time to fix that with a divider curtain. Now, I couldn't just reuse the same curtain setup I used for the windows. Those need tracks on the top and bottom, which obviously doesn't work behind the front seats as there is no place to install bottom rail. So I went on a quest for a curtain that only needed a top rail, was long enough to cover the whole space, and matched the style I already had. A curtain worthy of separating the cockpit from the camper cabin. And guess what? I found the perfect one. Same fabric, same cozy gray color, and even came with the same self-adhesive plastic rail I used before. You need 2 sets to cover full width of the car. Only 3 rails out of 4 are necessary as you need to manufacture 3 pieces. Left side section bent at the end to follow the ceiling line. Similar right side section on the opposite side of the car. Middle filler cut to length to close the gap between left and right sections. And all 4 curtains provided in 2 sets are used to make sure gaps in between curtains are easily closed. Only one problem. How do I mount that thing? At first, I had a genius idea, or so I thought. An aluminum angle bracket, bent to follow the headliner's curve. Attach it to the sunroof frame, brace the ends against the plastic side pillars, and then stick the curtain rail to that. But then reality hit me. Do I really want a metal boomerang above my head in case of an accident? Yeah, probably not. So I rethought it. What if I just glued the rail directly to the plastic sunroof frame? The sides wouldn't be glued, so I needed another solution to hold those in place. Cue the light bulb moment in the most unexpected place, my electrical parts box. I had these leftover wire terminals, and suddenly, I felt like MacGyver in a minivan. I popped the plastic covers off the terminals, drilled matching holes into the curtain rail ends, and slid the terminals in. Boom, DIY mounting hooks. Honestly, sometimes I surprise myself. Next, I used a heat gun to gently shape the rail so it would follow the curve of the ceiling. Pro tip: don't overheat it unless you want a Salvador Dali curtain rail. I trimmed off the stopper on the inside end of the rail so the curtain could slide all the way across. Then, I stuck the main part of the rail to the sunroof plastic using its built-in adhesive. As for the ends, I tucked the round part of the wire terminal hook under the side column trim. The rail presses up against it and stays put, simple and secure. Repeat the same steps on the other side. To bridge the gap between the side rails, I cut down a third piece of rail to the right length and stuck it right in the middle. Slid the curtains into the tracks, and just like that, they were up. To tidy up the look and improve privacy, I added some clear cable clips to fix the curtains along the edges and close the gaps. And finally, I used the Velcro straps and holders that came with the curtain set so I can tie them back when not in use, because no one likes being slapped in the face by a rogue curtain while driving. And there you have it. A sleek, cozy divider curtain that gives me privacy, matches the camper's aesthetic, and doesn't try to decapitate me in an emergency. If you found this helpful or at least mildly entertaining, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more DIY minivan camper ideas and updates. See you in the next one.